Well, we begin with breaking news out of London, where police have arrested a man after a stabbing attack at the capital's biggest mosque. Details are still emerging, but the victim, a man in his 70s who reportedly worked at the mosque, has been treated by paramedics and taken to hospital. Let's go straight to Rory Challens, who's on the phone for us from central London. Rory, what more can you tell us about this incident?
From what we know, at about 3 o'clock GMT, so a couple of hours ago, a man came into the mosque and tried, as we understand it, to stab the imam of the mosque. And he wasn't successful in doing that because someone else tried to get in the way and stop this stabbing, and it was that person that ended up being stabbed himself several times in the neck, from what witnesses have said. Now, we understand at the moment, this is not absolutely nailed down, but we understand that this might have been the muezzin for the mosque, the man who calls the prayers. He has been taken to hospital, and his condition at the moment is not thought to be life-threatening. Obviously, fairly serious injuries, but not life-threatening at the moment from what we're being told. And yes, a man has been arrested and on suspicion of attempted murder. So that's the latest as things stand at the moment. We don't know, of course, whether this is in any way linked to what has happened in Germany over the last day or so. But that is going to be forefront in people's minds at the moment. But no obvious connection so far.
Well, this happened not too long ago, Rory. Police have not released any details so far. Have they any clue as to who this perpetrator was?
No identification of him so far. There are, if you want to go and look, or if any of our viewers want to go and look, there are video clips that have been shared on social media, Twitter, etc., of police holding a man down and then, after arresting him, leading him out of the mosque. And as you can see, he looks like a white man, but we don't know anything else about him at the moment or why he may have done this.
OK, Rory, we've been just showing our viewers, we're showing viewers that footage from social media,
Okay.
but we did have live pictures from outside the mosque. Just put this into context for us. It looks like a large mosque. Is this quite a central place of worship in London? Is it a busy mosque?
Absolutely. I mean, for anyone who knows London or the life of Muslims in London, this mosque and another mosque in Finsbury Park are kind of the two most famous mosques in London. So this is one of the key centres for Islamic life in the UK. It's a big, important part of the fabric of Islamic life here. So I'm sure it has felt itself to be a target for any kind of Islamophobic attack or any kind of Islamophobic sentiment. It probably has reasonably good security. But obviously, as a place of worship, it needs to be open and it needs to be welcoming, and that kind of thing would be taken advantage of.
OK, Rory Challens, thank you for now. That's Al Jazeera's Rory Challens bringing us that breaking news that a man is under arrest after a stabbing attack at a large mosque in central London. We'll keep across that story and bring you more details as it comes out. But for now, let's get some analysis from Tallha Abdulrazaq. He's a counter-terrorism specialist. Joins us now from London by Skype. Good to have you with us on the programme. We're still waiting on the specifics of this case filtering through to us. But as a counter-terrorism expert yourself, could you just start by just define, what is terrorism? Because we've had an attack, a shooting attack target in Germany. Is this terrorism? I guess is my question.
Terrorism actually does not have a kind of a globally accepted definition. So there's no commonality on the understanding of what definition it is. So the United Nations has a definition. Various governments around the world also have their own definitions. But I mean, boiled down to its fundamentals, it's essentially the use of violence to achieve political ends. So if we're looking at, for example, non-state actors in particular, although states themselves can be involved in terrorism, such as sponsoring terrorist organizations. But primarily here, especially, we're looking at people who kind of have a different worldview, radical worldviews, militant worldviews, who have very strongly held opinions, and they believe that the only way to achieve those ends, those political ends, is through the use of violence. And that's why we see kind of commonalities amongst the tactics utilized by terrorists, even if they are, nominally on opposite ends of the ideological spectrum. So you've got, for example, ISIS extremists using kind of knife attacks in the middle of, Western capitals. And you also have far-right extremists, white supremacists, also using, low-cost primitive attacks involving knives and cars and knocking people down and killing them. So this happens across the board, and that's why there's kind of a commonality in the understanding of what terrorism is when we see it, but it's difficult to define in and of itself.
Well, it appears to be a commonality of understanding when you look at who is conducting the attacks and who's on the receiving end of them. Obviously, the people on the receiving end of this attack are Muslims in London. Does London have a problem, and does the UK have a problem with hate crimes?
Hate crimes have been on the increase in the United Kingdom, particularly in London. There have been a lot of instances, and plus, we've all seen anecdotal evidence of video footage, social media video footage showing Muslims on public transportation being abused, attacked, hit, spat on, and generally maligned. This is actually as a result of a highly charged atmosphere against people of the Muslim faith. That's not to say that, obviously there aren't extremists within Muslim communities. There definitely are. And these people need to be challenged. But to demonize an entire community on the actions of a few does not work. It, in fact, encourages the same violence that you're denouncing to actually find a place to sprout and find fertile ground to grow. So it actually contributes to the propaganda used by these extremist groups. If you have, for example, just say this attack today, if it is linked to far-right extremism, as it seems likely at a preliminary level right now, then what that does is it provides people like ISIS and provides people like Al-Qaeda with the propaganda to say, look, you're not wanted in the West. You Muslims are people who are hated by Westerners. They don't want you in their country. They don't want you in their homes. They don't want you in their cities, and they are going to kill you. So you have to sign up with us to fight back. Obviously, such a warped ideology is going to take advantage of events like this. And similarly, whenever ISIS commit a terrorist attack, you've got the far right on the other side saying to, what they call the indigenous white population, you are under attack, you're being invaded, there's a racial war going on right now, and you need to soldier up and join the front lines to defend your livelihoods, you need to defend your homeland. So these ideologies actually feed each other.
OK. Tallha Abdulrazaq, great to get your thoughts. Thank you so much for joining us there by Skype from London. Well, the